Dinosaurs ruled the Earth for over 165 million years. There were many theropods throughout the Mesozoic era that were extremely formidable. We've picked 72 that dominate the others. In this show, we will talk about these dangerous animals, including when they lived, what they ate, their weaponry, and how humans would fare if these creatures were still alive. From the tyrant lizard king, to the lord of the lizard eaters, to the meat-eating bull, this is 72 Dangerous Animals Prehistory.
PiloPlon grew up to 30 feet long and weighed up to 2,000 pounds. It lived 167.7 to 166.1 million years ago in France.
PiloPlon, meaning varied ribs, was a large tetaneuron dinosaur from the Middle Jurassic period. The holotype was discovered in France in 1835, but was unfortunately destroyed in World War II. However, some of its bones were cast and still stand today in museums around the world. PiloPlon's species name is PiloPlon bucklandi. The author gave it the name bucklandi because he noticed similarities between it and Megalosaurus bucklandi. He did this on purpose because if Megalosaurus and PiloPlon became synonymized, only PiloPlon's genus name would be changed. This was an extremely stupid decision, because if it was determined that they were the same genus, they would both take this exact same name, despite being different species. Then, one of them would need to be renamed, because they can't share the same name and be different species. It's literally illegal according to the ICZN. That's like saying that lions and snow leopards are the same animal, even though they are not. In 1879, PiloPlon was synonymized with Megalosaurus, and because of this, they took the exact same name. In 1923, it was concluded that both Megalosaurus bucklandi were separate species, resulting in the one that was originally named PiloPlon being renamed Megalosaurus PiloPlon. Now, however, it is recognized back in its own genus, PiloPlon. Who in their right mind sees two different species with a few similarities and gives them the exact same species name? They were obviously not the same animal, or even close to it, and yet he thought he was doing something smart and thinking ahead to the future. You done fucked up, Jacques. This disaster was easily preventable. A complete set of 14 pairs of gastralia, also known as belly ribs, were preserved with the holotype. It is extremely rare for a complete set of gastralia to be found fossilized. PiloPlon had long and muscular forelimbs that resembled those of Torvosaurus. It had 3 fingers with large claws. It could easily kill you, using its teeth and claws to rip you apart.
PiloPlon takes first for now. Up next, a giant allosaurid. Saurophaganax grew from 43 to 46 feet long and weighed up to 12,000 pounds. It lived 151 million years ago in North America. Saurophaganax, the lord of the lizard eaters, was a giant allosaurid from the late Jurassic period. It was the largest terrestrial carnivore in North America during the late Jurassic period, bigger than both Allosaurus and Torvosaurus. Saurophaganax, along with Allosaurus, were the apex predators of their environment, hunting and killing massive sauropods, hadrosaurs, stegosaurs, and other theropods. Saurophaganax had large arms with 3 fingers on each hand. It had large claws that were over a foot long that would have been dangerous weapons. It had serrated teeth in its jaws that would have easily sliced through prey's flesh. It could take out large chunks of its prey, causing it to bleed to death or die from shock. Saurophaganax had horns over its eyes, just like Allosaurus. It could run at speeds of 34 miles per hour and chase down its prey. A human would stand no chance against Saurophaganax. It would bite you in half with its jaws, then eat you. Saurophaganax overpowers PiloPlon for first place. Up next, one of the largest carnivorous theropods. Mapusaurus grew up to 48 feet long and weighed up to 18,000 pounds. It lived 97 to 93.5 million years ago in Argentina.
Mapusaurus, the earth lizard, was a giant carcharodontosaurid from the late Cretaceous period. Mapusaurus is often estimated to be around 40 feet long. However, the largest skull of a specimen was exactly 6 feet long, and in reconstruction for size estimates, it is usually given a much smaller head. If you scale its head to 6 feet long, rather than around 5 feet, that brings its total body length up to 48 feet long. Mapusaurus was first discovered in 1997 and excavated from 1997 to 2001. It was named and described in 2006. Mapusaurus is nearly identical to Giganotosaurus, with there only being 2 minor differences in their skeletons. A total of 9 Mapusaurus skeletons were found in association with each other. This is thought to have been a family group, as the individuals are of different sizes and ages. This provides evidence that Mapusaurus hunted in packs, using its numbers to take down giant sauropods like Argentinosaurus. Like Allosaurus and Tyrannotitan, Mapusaurus would have taken bites out of sauropods until its hunger was satisfied, and then left them alive to heal. Then, it would attack them again at a later date. Mapusaurus had thin, serrated teeth, like great white sharks, and used them to efficiently slice chunks out of its prey. Like other carcharodontosaurs, Mapusaurus had a V-shaped head, meaning it couldn't take as big of a bite as Tyrannosaurus rex, which had a U-shaped head. Mapusaurus had short arms with 3 fingers. Its arms were useless for attacking or killing prey. Mapusaurus could run at speeds of 30 miles per hour. A single Mapusaurus would be very bad to come across. A pack of Mapusaurus would be your worst nightmare. They would surround you, making sure there was no escape, and then you would meet your brutal end.
Mapusaurus overpowers Saurophaganax and PiloPlon and takes first. Saurophaganax moves to second and PiloPlon to third. Incoming, a slim carcharodontosaur. Neovenator grew up to 33 feet long and weighed up to 4,400 pounds. It lived 130 to 125 million years ago in England.
Neovenator, the new hunter, was a medium-sized carcharodontosaur from the early Cretaceous period. Neovenator was thin and relatively lightweight for its size. Neovenator had 3 fingers with large, sharp claws. It had large, powerful forelimbs that it could use to grab onto prey. Like Spinosaurids, Neovenator had a complex system of neurovascular canals in its snout. In Spinosaurids, these are used for detecting prey in the water. It is unknown if Neovenator used its sensory organs for the same purpose. Neovenator is thought to be completely terrestrial, in that its sensory organs were used to detect pressure and temperature. They could also be used in precision feeding, meaning it avoided biting or eating bones so as to not damage its teeth. This is supported by evidence of its lack of tooth wear. Neovenator lived alongside at least 3 species of Spinosaurids, including Baryonyx. Neovenator was the apex predator of its ecosystem, feeding on smaller dinosaurs.
Neovenator can't top our giant super predators. It beats PiloPlon and takes third, pushing PiloPlon to fourth. Here comes a Chinese Tyrannosaur. Zhucheng tyrannus grew up to 40 feet long and weighed up to 11,000 pounds. It lived 73.5 million years ago in China. Zhucheng tyrannus, the Zhucheng tyrant, was a large tyrannosaur from the late Cretaceous period. The holotype of Zhucheng tyrannus consists of a right maxilla and left dentary, and was estimated to be 36 to 40 feet long, a similar size to Tarbosaurus. Zhucheng tyrannus' teeth have serrations extending all the way to the base of its tooth crowns, which is different from all other tyrannosaurines. It fed on ceratopsians, hadrosaurs, and ankylosaurs. Like all tyrannosaurs, Zhucheng tyrannus had short arms with only 2 fingers on each hand. Zhucheng tyrannus could easily finish you off with its mouth full of sharp teeth. Zhucheng tyrannus takes 3rd, pushing Neovenator to 4th and PiloPlon to 5th. Mapusaurus holds strong in 1st. Next up, a mythical dinosaur. Sauronops grew up to 40 feet long and weighed up to 9,000 pounds. It lived 100 million years ago in Morocco. Sauronops was a large carcharodontosaur from the late Cretaceous period. In the early 21st century, a piece of a dinosaur skull was found in Morocco. In 2012, it was reported to be a new species and was named Sauronops, which means Eye of Sauron, after Sauron from the Lord of the Rings novels. In the novels, Sauron was known mostly as a single searching eye. Much like Sauron, Sauronops is only known from one piece of its orbit, an eye bone. In 2019, the theropod Osteoporosia gigantea was synonymized with Sauronops. Interestingly, though, there is almost zero evidence that Osteoporosia was ever discovered, as online information is kept to a bare minimum of mentioning its name without any additional information, and its Wikipedia page was deleted. In 2020, it was suggested that it should be synonymized with Carcharodontosaurus, but in 2022, this was rejected, as more distinguishing features were discovered in the Sauronops holotype. Sauronops had several similarities in its skull to abelisaurs, which were caused by convergent evolution. Like other Carcharodontosaurs, Sauronops likely had small, useless arms. Sauronops had serrated teeth and would have been an apex predator, feeding on any animal it could take down. It could easily take out any human in its path. Sauronops isn't as powerful as Mapusaurus, Saurophaganax, or Zhucheng tyrannus. It takes 4th, pushing Neovenator to 5th and PiloPlon to 6th. Mapusaurus wins this episode and moves on to our finalists. Next episode on 72 Dangerous Animals Prehistory, the monstrous murderer, meat-eating bull, and the powerful terror. While some dinosaurs did have feathers, paleo artists and filmmakers often create them with way more than they actually had. Just because some dinosaurs were confirmed to have feathers doesn't mean all dinosaurs had feathers. Tyrannosaurus rex, for example, didn't have any feathers, as evidenced by preservation of scaly skin on parts of its body that had feathers in other dinosaurs.
In each episode, we will rank the creatures from 1 to 6 on a scale of how potentially dangerous these creatures would be to humans, and the winner of each episode will showdown with the other 11 finalists in the season finale to decide on which prehistoric creature was the ultimate human killing machine.